Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to help you if you are struggling right now at the moment with a difficult client relationship. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to set boundaries, how to clear up the nonsense or the confusion, and in the future, be proactive so it doesn't happen again. I have had a few difficult client relationships and what I've learned in the process that I'm going to walk through now. Here are 4 simple tips for you so you can set boundaries with your clients. So let's get into it. Number 1, figure out what the true challenge is. Now, this may seem obvious to you, but I'm going to ask that you dig a little bit deeper. In a difficult client relationship, in the middle of it, you need to figure out what is the actual difficulty. Is it the client? Is it their requests? Or is it your skill level compared to the requests they have? Or is it what they're asking for against their budget? As you can see, those are 4 totally different examples, and you really need to figure out what you are fighting for. At the same time, it's important to know what your skill level is. So this is an example I use quite often, and if you've seen some of my other content, you might know it. But when I was starting out, I remember I was doing a project for about $2,000, and it was really hard for me to break that $2,000 mark on a project. And I remember it was for a nonprofit school, and they had a lot of content. In reality, I should have been charging somewhere around 5 to 7K. But at the time, with my skill level, it was about 2. And I made a decision in the middle of the project when it wasn't going well. I realized that it was my experience that was holding this project back, and that the confusion was not on the client as much as it was on me. And so what I figured out was, hey, this might be a $2,000 project, but I'm gonna work on it as if it was a $3,000 or $4,000 project. And by doing that, I knew that in the future, I can show it to future clients and say, hey, this is what the value is for a $3,000 to $4,000 website. So the big question here is this a client issue or is this an experience issue? You need to figure that out to make sure you are addressing the right thing. If it's an experience issue, well, you know what the answer is, and honestly, you don't even need to watch the rest of the video. But if it is a client issue, this will take us to number 2. Now, number 2 is gonna seem like it is more of a principle than an actual tactic, but this is actually really important. So number 2 is be ready to fully refund the client at any moment. Now, I have another video that walks through this details very specifically, but what I've learned is that you can get a client that is really difficult to work with, or the expectations are just everywhere, and the thing that you can do is you know your way out if you need to refund the client, that you are already willing and ready to do that before the project even starts. The more you're willing and ready to do that, the more you have control. If you feel bound by the project, I have to do it, and the client is being difficult, you're gonna have a really stressful time. And you may say, oh, I need this project, or I spent time on it. But there does come a point where working with the client on this specific project is just not worth it. The additional funds or the amount the project is being paid out, the budget for the project, is just not worth it. So you have to decide at a certain point if you will refund the client. And the way I do it, even if I've spent time on the project, if I'm initiating the refund, I issue a full refund. Yes, this could be thousands of dollars, but it's really important to know from the beginning, especially if you are just starting out and it's a $500 or $700 or $1,500 deposit that you need to refund. Be willing and ready to do that. The more you know you can do that, the more control you have, because you just don't know. When you start a new project with a client, you don't know if it's gonna go well, if it's gonna be difficult, or what's gonna happen. So give yourself that extra space, that room. I'd also even call it a bit of just grace for yourself in this process that, hey, we're gonna do our best to go forward, make this work. But if in the middle of the project, the client becomes really difficult and you foresee that the whole project will be difficult, Well, it may be good for you to just say, hey, as of right now, this doesn't look to be a good fit. I'm gonna give you a full refund. Everything I've created so far is yours. Do what you will with it. Find another designer. And as of right now, I will not move forward. I've done this with so many projects, even projects I probably could have figured out. But the reason this is so valuable is there's this principle that you are always the buyer. And as a website designer, there's such a valuable thing inside of you that when you know your value and your worth and you become the buyer, no one controls you. No one controls the projects that I do, how it happens, all of that. If I decide to go forward, I decide to go forward. Now, I don't waste clients' time or go 90% and then cancel last minute. I do my best to complete projects I start. But at the same time, if you've never done this before or you're afraid to let people down, your expectations are you get really nervous to not meet someone's expectations, these are going to be very valuable lessons and challenges for you to grow. You don't just grow as a website designer, you grow as a person. Your personal development is a huge part of your ability to sell big packages. And so in this process, you need to learn how to say no to a client. You need to learn how to walk through the process with a client and how you're going to tell them, hey, this is working out really well, let's keep going. Or this isn't working at all, and I'm just gonna give you everything back. Everything we've done so far is yours, and have a great day. If they're being difficult and you just give them a refund, that's fine as well. You don't necessarily need to give them what you've created as well. But if you're in the middle of the process and you just want a clean slate and no baggage, no, hey, you owe me this or any of that, you give them a full refund and you move forward. Even if it's in your documentation that they don't necessarily get a full refund, I would still give it to them, because then you just clean the slate and you just bought your time back. You are the buyer. So I just went on a bit of a tangent with that point, but I do want you to know that I have a ton of resources in my designer starter kit. So you should definitely check that out on our website. It is such a valuable tool for new designers. If you're still within your first 5 to 10 sites, we have a proposal tool in there. We have questions in there. We have our starter kit in there. The questions we send to a client to start a project, all of that is in there. It's such a valuable resource. Definitely make sure you check it out down below in the links. The designer starter kit, it's on sale right now. Make sure you grab it. Now, if you're ready to refund the client before the project starts, you're in such great standing. Now, this leads us to the third point. And the third point is this: set client expectations early and be proactive in the whole process. If you stay ahead of the client always knows where they're going. So I never let the client guide the project. I always guide the project. And this happens because I'm proactive from the beginning. This is one of the most important things I've learned in this process, which is this: you give them a process and you follow the process. If they want to skip ahead on the process, it's your job to enforce the process. Unless you're willing to bend from the process, that's on you. But if the client asks, hey, can we do step 4 now? And you're only on step 1, go back to the client, hey, I would love to do that, but we don't do that until we finish step 3. It's really important that we stay intact to the process, as it is the best way for you to get the final product that you want. You would never go to an architect and say, hey, let's skip to step 4 and forget step 2 and 3. You just can't do that. You have to go through certain processes and systems. Because it's website design doesn't mean it's any different. I don't know why I used air quotes, but so many times people think, oh, it's just a website design. Let's go to this step and then this step and then this step. No, there's a process. We go through the process. If you have questions about the process, I do have a video somewhere on my channel that walks through my 4-step process that can be so valuable for you. But if you want to make this relationship work with the client, focus on going through the process with the client and be proactive in the project. So once the project starts, you're the one who initiates emails. This is huge if you come from an employee mindset. You initiate all conversations. Do not wait for the client to say, hey, what's next? If the client asks that, you're not doing a good job. You want to always push ahead and make sure the client knows what's next. So as soon as they get off the discovery call, you tell them, hey, this is the next step. Once they do that, you tell them, hey, this is the next step. You are always informing them of what's next. Even when I send a design review, hey, here's the first draft, or here's the second draft, or whatever, I send it to them, and I always include in that email next steps, so they know exactly what to do next. They're not thinking of, hey, should I do this? Should I do that? Even though it's even in the proposal, I still clarify in every email what they need to do next and how to do it and when I want it back. And these are the things you want to detail in the terms of your proposal and contract. Again, the designer starter kit is a great tool for you to see our exact terms that we use with clients, but you want to make sure all of this is guided in the proposal so the client sees this is the process and these are the terms by which we execute this process. And here's a pro tip. This is what I've learned going through this process over 150 times. The first draft is the most important part of the process. Anytime you show that initial design, it's really a guiding force of the rest of the project. So they give you all this stuff, these ideas, and then you show that first draft. If that goes really well, there is a high likelihood that the rest of the project will go really well. If that doesn't go really well, there's a high likelihood that the rest of the project is going to be extremely difficult. So how do you ensure that that part of the process is executed with excellence? This is my tip. Use a Loom video. Again, I have a ton of resources on my YouTube channel for you, but you should do a Loom video. Walk the client through the site. Show them everything you built and why. Do not assume they understand how to navigate the website that you just built. Walk them through the site. Give them full guidance. Hey, this is why I put this here. This is why we're going to do this. This is how I set this up for you. It's going to be really easy to update in the future. X, Y, and Z. You explain to the client what you've built. If you're a graphic designer, same thing. Don't just send a deck and say, hey, here's the deck. Let me know your feedback. Walk them through the designs. I did this because this is what we talked about. And I did this because this is what you showed me. And I did this because this is what the industry is looking at right now. This is where it's headed. So you paint the picture so the client isn't just sitting there and saying, oh, this is cool. What is this? Oh, I'm supposed to scroll. You would assume that they know exactly what to do, but even simple things like that are so easy to overlook. And I just remember the first time I sent the Loom video, since then clients always come back and they say, wow, I'm so happy you sent the video. Now, this is the final tip, number 4. If you've gone through number 1 and number 2 and number 3, and you're now at this point and you are still struggling with the client, you need to make an important decision. Number 4 is where you refund the client. If the client is just being difficult, and or you are building a site going above and beyond for them, but they are just not recognizing the value you're bringing to the table, this is the point where you go to the client and say, hey client, I really enjoyed the opportunity to work with you, but it looks like we're not a good match. And so here are the next steps. I'm sending you a full refund now. It'll show up in your bank account in the next 3 to 5 days. I'm also going to send you access to what we've built already so that you can use that and build out your project however you like. In the future, if you're looking for designers, you should check out this tool or this website or whatever. And I really hope full success for your business, your project, your portfolio, whatever it is. And now you have just given the client everything they need, and you've also not held anything back. And so in this point, you just clearly identified that this is not working and you want to move forward. Now, this could lead to a lot of different things, and there's a lot of case-by-case scenarios in this. But just know that you have the opportunity to say no. You might not feel it right now, but just know that you do have that power to say, client, respectfully, no, this is not working for me, and or I just need to make an adjustment. I actually learned this really well from my best friend, that sometimes life just happens and you have to let the client know, yep, this isn't working, or my time has changed, or life circumstances have changed and I need to make a decision and go a different route. Best of luck for you in this process as I move in the direction I need to go. And admittedly, when I first started, I had a lot of people-pleasing tendencies and was nervous to do this. But I'll tell you this, as you do this and you get better at this, you'll be able to charge more and you'll be more confident as you work with a client when they come with kind of crazy expectations, but you correct it. And as soon as you correct it, they respect it. I didn't even mean for that to rhyme, but they'll come back and be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Or they'll say, fine, I could work with that. That's okay. I thought I'd go this way, but you say this way is better, so let's do it. And just one final point in this video, when will this be the most difficult? This is often the most difficult with the largest clients because there's numbers tied to it that you're like, wow, I've never seen these types of numbers before. But I'll tell you this, the numbers get bigger over time. So just trust the process. If you need to refund the client and move forward. But on top of all of that, sometimes this experience working with difficult clients gives you the confidence for future clients to be the best. So I sometimes will push through with difficult clients because I see the opportunity on the other end where I will become more confident and more experienced in the process. If you got value from today's video, hit the like button. And if you want more content like this, consider subscribing. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.